Hello folks, this is Steve AV4L. I see something interesting over here. I'm being careful. No traffic coming. Now I've seen this before. Big red blood. Oh, big red bus. OneBlood.org. See, this is a platelet mobile. Enter there, get out there. Now I'm going to tell you a little story. What does it remind me of? Long time ago, I lived with a nurse. 5 years. Boy, I learned a lot about hospitals. Part of that is 2 years she was working in a hematology outpatient clinic. What's hematology? Blood work, blood diseases, blood science. In particular, it was mostly intravenous cancer treatments, chemotherapy. But I remember one particular patient. She transfused him a couple of times, but then he died. He didn't die from anything that she did. He died because his system was finally worn out from the transfusions. What does that mean? In his case, he had leukemia. His system wasn't producing any red blood cells. Producing whites and other types, and there are diseases like that. So what do you do with a person like that? The answer is you give them a specialty blood product called packed red blood cells. So let's say you donated here today and you had the blood types where they knew they had patients that needed ongoing packed red blood cells of your type, thinking of other antigens. So then they process your donation to get rid of the serum and all of the other cell types and segregate out essentially only red blood cells. And then they, quote, pack them. Think about when you go to the grocery. So in the bag for his transfusion were red blood cells, high density, and they added, if I remember correctly, some Ringer's solution so that they weren't clumped up. And he would periodically get a transfusion of packed red blood cells. And it would be like, I don't remember the period, say every 3 months. It might have been more frequent than that, because those red blood cells don't have a long life, and his body wasn't making any replacements. And this literally had been going on for 20 years of his life. So the people donating to places like that extended his life for 20 years. But the downside was he had been exposed to all the other things in people's bloodstreams. Hundreds of people, hundreds of different people, they're all anonymous. His packed red blood cells didn't come from a single donor. They came from the general population. And even though he wasn't old, he was actually in his mid-50s, eventually that overcame him and he died. But in the meantime, he got 20 years worth of life from people's generosity. Steve AB40, just reminiscing a little bit. Now, I'm not promoting anything. I'm not recommending anything. I just saw the blood donation vehicle. Seen it before. Saying, see you in 73.